Hi, welcome to Source Snack Break today, everyone. I'm Ren with Source, and I'm so excited to see you all. Today is May 20th, and before we introduce our guests, I just want to tell you a little bit about the tool, the webinar tool. So you're all muted automatically, but you have access to the live chat. So pop in your favorite emoji to try it out. I see a couple people doing that. And you can always use the live chat to ask questions or comment. We'll make sure we answer any questions you have during the presentation. So definitely bring it on. We love questions. And I think Tim has got some questions for you, audience. So be sure to let us know what you're feeling. So we have some special guests today. We have Rebecca, our Portland rep for Shaw Contract, and we've got Tim Conway, the VP of Sustainability for Shaw, and we are going to chat about one of my favorite things, which is carpet and recycling. No joke, I love those things. So hey, you guys, I'm so excited to see you. Can you introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about Shaw for the rest of us?
Yeah.
You go first.
So, hi guys, I'm Rebecca Coteen. I am the local Portland Shaw Contract rep and have been with Shaw for the last couple of years for the second time. I'm super happy to be here in Portland and happy to be part of this platform and connecting with you all. So looking forward to talking to you a little bit about our rug program today.
And hello everyone in Portland, Tim Conway, and would say good to virtually be with all of you in Portland, Oregon today. And even more importantly, it's great to be speaking with who I consider my peers in Portland, as I spent the first 13 years of my career in Portland, Oregon. So great to get connected to everybody and talk about some of the sustainability initiatives that we're doing at Shaw. And great to see a lot of probably old contact names that will pop up in the chat box.
Awesome. So Portlanders, Tim is being a little sly. He has another connection to Portland, which is that our former Packcraft rep, Tommy, is his brother. So if Tim looks a little familiar, that's why. So give Tommy our love. We really miss him. So say hey for us. Yeah. So Rebecca, can you talk a little bit about your running line of rugs? It looks like you have some great stuff. Can you chat about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So yeah, we just launched a running line rug program, and I think it's especially timely considering so many of our clients are rethinking their space, they're rethinking how to use it and how to really spread people out. So this collection was curated by our design team with influences from several different designers throughout the globe, really with an inspiration from hospitality, retail space, living spaces. And so you're looking at essentially 5 different collections of patterns, which give you about 30 different options of running line rugs. And it gives you the custom look without the custom lead time. So that's fantastic. And in addition to that, you know, when you're thinking about the materials in most of our built environments now, whether it's concrete, wood, or even resilient, the opportunity to layer texture, warmth, and even improve the acoustic experience is benefited by rugs. So
you can also really use them to separate zones. I feel like when we talk about like moving people to different parts of the space, you can really use them to create space within a space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. So can you talk a little bit about the details that designers can pick from?
Right. Yeah. So in the past, we've always had the ability to make our material into rugs, but it was maybe a little wieldy in terms of specifications. So now each individual sort of unique identifier of these rugs, you can download specification and put that into your documents. Really easy for specifying and ordering. All of the rugs have a non-skid backing, PVC free applicated to the back. And then you've got your 2 options for edges, whether it's a surged edge or a hidden edge, and you can specify the color. They come in a myriad of sizes as well.
That is fantastic. So you guys make it super easy, start to finish.
Super easy start to finish, no minimums. You can order 1 or 20. And we've been pretty thoughtful about the sizes, 12 by 15, 11 by 11 round, an 8 by 10 and a 6 by 9. So you got a lot of flexibility in making it look custom when it's not. So great tool to have in your design toolkit.
I love that. Sweet. So that was a quick and dirty on rugs. And then Tim, let's chat about one of my favorite things about Shaw is that you all were the first cradle to cradle certified carpet. You had the first PVC free backing and you have installed 3 billion square feet. Can you talk a little bit about what Cradle to Cradle means? Because it is so awesome and it's a really robust program and it's a really great concept. Can you talk a little bit about what that is and how Shaw decided to go with that path?
Yeah, and Ren, I think I want to take you to all of my presentations all over the country now. That's
I know, I'm such a carpet nerd. I'm like, yay, can we talk about nylon? Like, I'm in, yeah.
Well, all of the things that you just talked about are really relevant today. Right? You talked about these are important to us today because it addresses material health. It addresses renewable energy. It addresses water. It addresses social responsibility and the ability to participate in recycling, or as we talk about it today, in circular economies. Right? So this is really relevant today, but it's something that we started 20 years ago. No one was talking about anything like this. So really the Cradle to Cradle, as most maybe designers, design professionals, see Cradle to Cradle as a product certification. I don't think a lot of people know this, but it is something that we see as a North Star. And once you get a Cradle to Cradle certification, you have to show constant improvement in all 5 of those attributes every 2 years and renew this. So Cradle to Cradle is my opinion, is a design signal that empowers design professionals to specify materials that have a better outcome, a better purpose, right? So we talk about, hey, we started this conversation trying to have like a chemical avoidance strategy. Like, I don't want this in my product. I don't want this in my product. And we've gotten better with transparency. But Cradle to Cradle is really that trusted third party that has been, screened against the ban list, screened not at the ingredient level, but at the molecular level, and then assessed against things we care about.
Yeah.
Eliminate the risk and hazards of carcinogens, reproductive toxicity, endocrine disruption. But then it's also about circular economy. It's what we're talking about. I think that when we think about recycling in our industry, sometimes even in our personal life, it's like we're trying to do the right thing at the wrong time, like the right action at the wrong time.
Yeah. So then the impact is minimized. Yeah.
We think about we don't think about recycling when we're getting ready to dispose of something. When we really need to start thinking about specifying, designing buildings for disassembly and looking at Cradle to Cradle as that design signal.
Right. Yeah, so I just want to emphasize that for designers, and I'll do a little shout out to designers. Are you all familiar with Cradle to Cradle? One thing I really love and appreciated about it is that it doesn't just talk about material health. It talks about sort of the whole picture. It gives you an idea of what is in a product, how it's made, how that company treats their people, which is really important to a lot of designers, especially to me, which is why I love it so much and why I appreciate that you guys are doing it. So as we talk about circular economies, we're talking about something that is not only creating something that's better for the economy's in the word, but it's great for humans and it's great for the environment. So like if you're someone that's like, I want the whole package, I want something that is great. It doesn't have to be an either or. You don't have to be sustainable and be like, I want to save the aardvarks, yay. But you can also be like, I'm reinvigorating the economy by creating a new system. So can you talk a little bit, Tim, about the carpet recycling program that you guys do and what were the issues that you were finding with that program?
Hang on me for a second. You brought up a really smart topic.
Okay.
we are invigorating an economy, a circular economy, which in turn will reduce our carbon output of materials that go into buildings.
Right.
Invigorating the circular economy, we are also creating a solution for reduced embodied carbon in products. Right? How do we reduce the carbon footprint of materials? Is to stop extracting raw material out of the earth to put into materials. So if we can use waste streams as a natural resource, right? That is circular economy today.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that trigger.
Yeah.
We've been bouncing around the country, the world for 20 years saying we want it back. I've probably promised in my 13 years at Shaw in that market and maybe 5,000 promises saying, we will take this back at the end of its time of service, right? There's 3 billion square feet of EcoWorks installed all over the world, right? There's a 1-800 number on the back of every carpet tile we've ever made that says to recycle, call 1-800-509-SHAW. Pretty cool plan, right? What could go wrong? What could go wrong, right? That phone's rang in 20 years, 254 times, right? The material is not going to find its way back on its own. And I've been bouncing around the country, talking to design professionals, end users. And by the way, we're getting better at this. I'm not saying that it's broken, but we've learned a lot. Mm-hmm. That we can't do this alone and that we really need to get engaged with specifiers, to get engaged, because in order for this to be successful, it's a team sport, right? Shaw can't get it back. But with the help of the ZGFs and the Ankrams and the Sarahs and McKenzie, right? I could go on and on. If you are willing to get innovative, get clumsy, right? And try to engage the general contractors and subcontractors, when we have that engagement, we're finding a lot of success. So that's kind of the plan of this new return program, is how do we engage and educate a supply chain?
Right. So I'm going to get a little bit broad for just a second. So you can take back your carpet tiles and you can turn them back into carpet. Is that what we're talking about, just on a broad level? That's what you want to do?
Yes.
Fantastic. That is super rad. It still blows my mind a little bit, like that you can take carpet and you can send it back to Shaw, and Shaw will take it and turn it back into itself. Like that is a circular economy that works for everyone. And so let's talk a little bit about how designers can help make this happen. What do designers need to know about putting this in their specs, talking to contractors? One of the things I love about circular economies is I have a friend we're going to talk to on one of these snack breaks later, who talks about circular economies being like a bicycle wheel, that it only works if there are spokes. And so the spokes hold up the bicycle wheel, and the spokes are all of our relationships. And so you cannot have a circular economy without creating robust, strong relationships between people. So Tim, can you talk a little bit about like the relationships that designers should work to have so that we can talk to our clients about this, talk to our contractors about this, to really get this program going, and what resources Shaw has to help designers do this?
Yeah. So at the end of June, we are launching a new recycling program called Return, RETURN. And hopefully the way that we communicate with you is going to change, right? So as we are working with you as a design professional, and not just talking about the materials that you're looking at to specify, we're going to ask you questions like, hey, can you get us access to the space, or can you find out what's coming out of the building that we're replacing? Mm-hmm. What's a smartphone photo of the backing? Can you give us access to get into the space? Can you call your project management team at Ball or at Walsh or at Skanska and ask them to send us a photo, right? And if it's a square of carpet, that's a good sign, right? Carpet tile. And once we see the backing, we can tell you we have an opportunity to recycle this, right? Once we've identified, that's the first step. Can you help us identify what's in the space? The next one, I think, is what I'm really excited about, is we need to put it into the specifications. Mm-hmm. Carpet is, this typically gets VE'd out because it's a change order. Mm-hmm. It's part of the bid. So we've developed a carpet tile reclamation specification that you can just put into your finish schedule. We developed it with, we had spec writers help us write this. I have shopped it around A&D professionals all over the countries. And I've also asked GCs for their input.
Fabulous.
No. So this is just a step-by-step. Most GCs say, you're going to recycle. By the way, we don't charge for recycling our material. It's free.
Everyone, let's just pause on that for 1 second. Designers, it is free. Yay, we love that word so much. It is free. Shaw will handle it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. But here's the challenge. And I'm on this call with the GC. So once we identify and we specify, that's when the next step comes. We're going to ask you to introduce Rebecca to the general contractor. We don't talk to them. We talk to flooring contractors.
Got it. Okay.
The GCs will come back and push back on this. I'm telling you this in the future. They're going to say, this is going to cost too much to recycle this. I'm like, well, it doesn't cost anything, right? But I've asked every GC in the country this, how much does it cost to throw away 1 square yard of carpet? How much does it cost to throw away a ton? Right? They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to create baselines compared to that place called away. What would it cost to throw this away versus what would it cost for you to stack this on a pallet, get it to a dock so we can pick it up for free? Right? And once that introduction from Shaw to the GC happens, they're like, okay, I can do that. That's not that hard. And then the next, we execute, we come pick it up, and then we're going to send you reports back to say, because of Shaw Contract and Sarah Architects and this end user, we eliminated the landfill consumption of your project by 88,000 pounds, which by inserting that into new material is the equivalent of eliminate this many pounds of carbon, which is the equivalent of this many trees or this many miles never driven.
Fabulous. Hey, Tim, can I pause really quick? We have 2 questions. One is, do you have statistics on how many contractors or end users recycle carpet at the end of its life? That's one. And the designer needs to specify it, like you were talking about. We need to include it in our specs. Which spec section does that need to be included in? And then the last question is, when is this program going to be available? Woohoo!
I don't have any statistics about which GCs are doing a lot of good work, right? It's too early to say. Where we do a lot of good work is when we have support of the owner through the GC, through the design professional to the manufacturer. And we're doing, and listen, I'm not saying this is all doom and gloom. I mean, we are pulling back millions of pounds every year. So I don't have those numbers. But what we're going to start tracking with return, wouldn't it be cool if we could say that Portland, Oregon pulled back 3.5 million pounds of carpet, and Portland, Oregon is a leader in carpet tile recycling.
Fabulous.
Now that the program in place, we can start to measure and collect that data.
Great.
Right now, we measure it by the corporate end users. Principal Financial in Des Moines, Iowa, last year recycled almost 1 million pounds of carpet tile. Des Moines, Iowa can do this.
Portland, we can do it.
Right? Bank of America does great work. Wells Fargo, I could go down the list. But I think where we've missed is we haven't gotten the design professionals engaged. Mm-hmm. It adds a different level of value that you can bring to projects and just deliver purpose to the design that you have as well. So don't have the stats on that. Third question was, this is going to launch with marketed material at the end of June. So we're 5 weeks away. And what was the second question again?
Which spec section should the carpet return be in? Is it in the finishes or is it in like the general conditions?
Rebecca will be able to share that with you. We have options in all 3 sections.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Right? So some of it depends. We have it in construction, in design, waste management, recycling. We also have it in finishes because at the times too many different entities demo buildings.
Yeah.
Right. So floor factors might install all the carpet in your building, but they didn't do the demo.
Right.
Maybe Walsh hired a demo contractor to do that. So I don't know the sweet spot with that, but we have all 3 different sections to put that in.
Great. And I think to Tim's point, like really the ask from the design community is helping us connect to the GC and connect to the owner because of just what he said. We don't know necessarily all the parties involved in these transactions. So to help us make that happen, that we're looking for you guys to be connectors.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about building these new relationships and getting involved early. And I especially find that telling that story to your clients is also really important, that if it comes from the clients, they get really pumped on this. And so designers, I would say that this is an opportunity for us all. Let's make sure those calls go up. And I do love that you, as Shaw, are providing all these materials for designers to use, to put in your specs, to start those conversations earlier. sort of logistically wise, what is required? Do you need to pull it all and put it on a pallet, or do you what happens to it?
So the requirements are listed line item in the specification, like first, right? So that the GCs, as long as GCs will say, I just do what I'm told by the finish schedule. Mm-hmm. So we tried to make that really clear. So we would work with the GC. We, instead of taking it off the floor and taking it to the dumpster, put it on pallets, get it to a dock, and we will pick it up.
Great.
So one of our strengths as well is Shaw's at any given time, one of the largest independently held fleets of trucks in the United States. So our material goes from Cartersville, Georgia to Seattle on a big truck, and then a small truck down to Portland, and then on a project truck to your project. So we have the ability to get in and out of some really tight areas quickly using our own assets.
Oh, great.
So it's a 500-yard minimum, not a lot. And then once we get that material, we'll take that to the distribution center in Seattle. Once we get a full truck, we'll take that truck back to Georgia, which that will come back into New EcoWorks products.
Fabulous. Does it need to be a Shaw product that you're pulling out, or do you take any carpet tile as long as it's carpet tile?
The only thing that we will recycle for free is Shaw carpet tile. You know why? Okay. You know why?
Because you know what's in it.
Because that's what we make.
Right.
So we don't make PVC-backed carpet tile.
Got it.
We can't recycle PVC-backed carpet tile. But what we can do, Ren, and Portland community, is we won't recycle the PVC-backed carpet tile, but we will facilitate the recycling of PVC-backed carpet tile. Same process, the exact same specification, and we will get that up. They'll take it up, stack it on pallets, and rather than taking it to our facility to recycle it, we will knock on the door of one of our competitors, drop it off to them. That still makes that chemistry, and they can use that as their raw material.
That's lovely, especially because I know y'all are next door to each other down in Georgia. So you just drop it over next, just push it over the fence and be like, here you go.
The only thing that would come at a really added cost is any cushioned back carpet tile. Mm-hmm. Urethane cushion can't be unbaked, so there's no you can't deconstruct it. Mm-hmm. So we'd have to have a big kid conversation and say that can either go to a landfill or we can take it to a place to be incinerated for waste to energy. And I juggle that on what's the right thing to do. And I'm not an expert to tell you.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the recycling process? Once the carpet gets back to you, what happens to it? What is that process?
It sounds like, oh my God, you're able to do it, but it's really pretty basic. So and we've just put in a new recycling line, right? So we've built a brand new carpet tile manufacturing facility. It's up and running for about a year right now. And we've had a process called elutriation, which was state of the art 15 years ago. So our new process at NGR, haven't named it yet, it's an engineer name, sorry, has the ability to take the product apart, and we're basically pulverizing it.
Okay.
We're cutting it up into such small pieces, but because we're able to pulverize it better, we're able to get the insertion rate cleaner into the products. So we're running tests right now where we can increase by 10, 15, 20, 25% recycled content insertion rates, and it's working. So what's the only thing we're lacking? More material. Right? We need to feed that monster, right? We have to feed that NGR machine. So, and for every, as we're getting into this conversation around what's the carbon footprint of your product, but it's going to get lower the more recycled content we put into it.
Right.
So this has so many end result value propositions for us as a company.
You can't even call it a twofer. It's more than two.
It is. Listen, I do this for a living, and I was trying to add them up in my head before you called it a twofer.
Yeah. So designers, that's my call to you. Our call to you is to start putting this in your specs, talking to your clients about it, getting them pumped on this. I will say, designers, if you're working on LEED projects, those construction waste statistics about how much you've diverted from the landfill will help you get LEED points. So this will help you get LEED points in a really great story. And I find that super compelling. So designers, I got a call up for you. Yeah, keep going.
Ren, there's also a pilot credit coming out with LEED right now, a circular pilot credit that's coming out that is not only going to measure what you're returning, but what you're specifying.
Great.
Cradle to Cradle products is, I mean, look, I'm going to use an example of the city of San Francisco, right? I think the question was asked, do you only recycle your material? Well, yes, it's because of what we make, right? So the city of San Francisco has mandated that all public buildings for the city of San Francisco must be free of this, and this, but must be Cradle to Cradle certified.
Great.
For material health, but they're also realizing when we think about recycling in our built environment, it's like we're trying to fix a really big problem at the end of a really big pipe. And we're trying to find solutions based on design decisions from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Right.
City of San Francisco sees is, can we create circular economies by how we source and specify materials today so that in the future we are creating circular economies in our portfolio? So right. I think we need to think about recycling it how we specify, but also how we, demo and circulate products at the end too.
That's awesome. So designers, what I love about this is that you really have the chance to make a huge impact. Like carpet, the floor is one of the biggest surfaces that we specify. You have a ton of power. You can harness that power. You can feel like Wonder Woman and really make a great thing happen. This is a tremendous opportunity you have. And Tim, I'm so excited that you're here to talk about this. Again, this is one of my nerd out favoriteest topics is carpet recycling. So designers, you can order Shaw samples from our website right now. You can also join us for another snack break tomorrow. So smash that register now button. Tim, Rebecca, it was great to see you. I love talking about this. Next time we can talk about nylon. It's my other favorite topic. I just am so happy to see you guys, and I want to thank all the designers for joining us today. And designers, you know what your job is now? Start recycling some carpet. Let's get that monster fed, as you say, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
Bye.